M. Night returns to make you question, what would I do if someone knocked on my door? Hi all, and welcome to Blue Reviews. I'm CSG, aka Comrade Blue, and today I'm going to be breaking down my thoughts on Shyamalan's latest Knock at the Cabin. Currently sitting at a 6.4 IMDb score and a 68 critic to 65 audience score on RT, reception has been pretty mixed, but does the film deserve it? In comparison to some of Shyamalan's more recent films, I would say this borders closer to his upper echelon in ways, but repeats some of his biggest failings in others. Let's break it down.
Hi there. Can I talk to you for a little bit?
The film centers around loving couple Eric and Andrew, as well as their 7-year-old daughter Wen, who are vacationing in a remote cabin. What starts off as a quiet getaway quickly escalates into a nightmare scenario when 4 strangers, Leonard, Adrienne, Sabrina, and Redmond, hold the family hostage and force them to make a choice that could mean the salvation or the end of the world. Based on the novel The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay, Knock has a fast-moving but pretty standard plot that's easy to break up into chunks. Once the dominoes do start to fall, though, you can probably pick up the cyclical nature of everything going on and even some hints of where things may ultimately end up. As with every other Shyamalan movie, the twist of the film will probably have a large impact on how you feel leaving the theater, but I personally prefer this one to some of his more recent films like Old or Glass. Now, with that being said, because the plot of the movie is, by nature, mostly relegated to a singular location, it relies very heavily on a cast assembled to bring the most out of the material, and this is where I feel the film is really at its strongest. Wen and Eric, played by newcomer Kristen Cui and Jonathan Groff respectively, bring a lot of heart and sentimentality to the family side of things. Groff especially stands out in my mind as being really able to drive home the grief and fear in his situation while balancing a bit of an open-mindedness that his character encompasses. I also really enjoyed all 4 invaders as well. Dave Bautista, Abby Quinn, Nikki Amuka Bird, and Rupert Grint are able to toe the thin line between maybe crazy, maybe serious so well, and they also exhibit a lot of passion, care, and concern that you don't ever really get to see in movies like this. Their performances, Bautista especially, really help make you question how real this proposed apocalyptic scenario truly is. While the acting is great, I do have to say that one of the weakest aspects of this movie is the character development of nearly everyone. There's really only one character that has a true arc, and that's Groff's Eric. You can tell he's weighing the things being told and the things being seen throughout the movie, and this makes him feel a lot more real as a character. The invaders, however, are more one note, and that's because they are intentionally written that way. They're mechanisms to move the plot forward, with the exception of Bautista's Leonard, who does get a little bit more backstory to chew on. My biggest issue, however, is the character of Andrew. He's very one note to the point that it sucks away all the suspense from many of the scenes, and while we're told that he's supposed to be a loving and tolerant human rights lawyer, comes across as the exact opposite, mostly in his actions to everyone else in the film. It's hard to root for a character that tries to take control of every situation involving his partner, refuses to acknowledge anything going on in the context of the film, and constantly argues for the death of 8 billion people, regardless of what little backstory tries to explain why he is this way. Now, shifting gears a bit to the visual side of things, Knock is a pretty standard Shyamalan film, which means lots of static cameras, people walking through frames, blurry backgrounds, and dark, earthy tones. It's kind of become a formula of its own at this point, and if you think about other M. Night movies like Split, The Visit, Signs, and The Village, Knock falls into place pretty nicely. Coming off of Old and Glass, though, which have way more interesting shots and good use of color pops, this seems like a step back towards Night's old comfort zone. One thing I did find more interesting, though, is the playing with lighting. There are certain moments in the film which feel intentionally structured lighting-wise that I would like to check out again and really feel if they contribute well to a second watch. This leads me to my final points. Despite its issues, Knock at the Cabin is a stronger film in Shyamalan's library. As someone who grew up watching his work, I've definitely seen the highs and unmentionable lows of his career. I walked away from this one thinking about it probably more than I should have, and I feel the tension was closest to his projects that I really enjoy, like Signs, Split, Sixth Sense. I also think that the brisk hour 40 runtime makes it a lot more digestible than a lot of other movies coming out, and it's a little easier to forgive if you don't really care for it. That said, I do think if you've enjoyed Shyamalan's work in the past, or needing something different between Avatar: Way of Water and Ant-Man: Quantumania, it's worth checking out. Overall, despite character issues and a more generic Shyamalan-style plot, not is enough going for it, and the performance is an overall mystery that it might be worth letting into your home. 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe and check back to our channel for more from Roguely Entertainment. We're going to be giving you a lot over the next coming weeks, really building up a brand. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.